Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the SEO show. In this episode, I'm sitting down with Adam Colbert to talk about sales for your agency, specifically how anyone can go out there and build up a sales team that work on commission to bring you leads and close those leads. It's a very cool system that you can use to really grow your agency without having to personally be calling up 100, 200 businesses a day, or whatever you're personally capable of doing. This is how to hire people that are rock stars at sales. They'll pick up the phone, call some businesses cold, generate leads, and then close them on your services for a small percentage of the deal. Let's get into the interview. I hope you enjoy it. Alright man, we're live. Thank you for coming on the show and joining me today.
Hey, no problem, Daryl. Thanks for having me.
So do you want to start off with, same as every show, and a quick little intro as to who you are?
Yeah, so my name's Adam Colbert. I own Rocket 31 Digital Marketing. Just another SEO. I'm in the group, the SEO group, on a lot of the groups on Facebook. And what I've done is I've managed to scale my agency relatively quickly by hiring a sales team and doing massive amounts of cold email. So that's kind of what I've been able to do. And I did this while working at a corporate job. So.
How long ago did you get out of the corporate job?
It's been a couple months now.
Okay, wow, so relatively soon though.
So I worked from home. Now I won't mention the company, but I worked for a pretty large company you've probably heard of, and I worked from home. I was selling business services in a particular industry, software and things like that. So I had a lot of freedom, and I really got into I got into SEO about 3 to 4 years ago. And I was doing different things on the side. I started an agency geared towards vape shops, and it didn't really work that well. I was my pricing was so low. I thought I could come in and maybe be like what's that company, like Dex Media or something, like be everything to everybody.
Yeah.
So that didn't work out. But I was learning this whole time. I was just kind of learning how to rank sites really well and just different things. So
what sort of time frame are we talking? Like, when did you start that, like, first agency?
Oh, that was, I'd say, back in 2013.
Okay.
Yeah, and it kind of fizzled. I still have it active. It still gives me leads. In fact, I got actually one of my largest clients is a vape company.
Nice.
And they're worldwide, and they actually came in through that website. So. And
back then, what was like the pricing and like the services? Was it like absolutely everything? Like anything you have me do, I'll do it.
Yeah, basically. So for the vape site, for the vape SEO in that niche, it was like, I'll make you a website and I'll rank it, and it was really, because that's a really low comp niche at the local level.
Sure.
So if you're a retailer trying to sell online like e-com, it's super competitive. But if you want to rank for Vape Shop Denver, it's not super hard. So what I did, I was coming in and I offered I had a $150 package and I had a $250 package. So that's what I mean when I say I was trying to, I guess, emulate a company like Dex Media. I figured, if I just get 1,000 vape shops to do business with me, I'll be good.
Sure.
But it doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. So I've learned over time.
It's a good lesson.
Yeah.
Can I ask, what was the reason you started trying to get into SEO and trying these different things out, as opposed to like the job you had?
So I was making good money. I was earning six figures at my corporate job, but what made me want to get into SEO was I was making a lot of money for a company, and I said, I can sell, so I should do this and make the money for myself. Another thing, I like the technical aspect of it, so I like being able to analyze things and figure out what's going to work. It's really interesting when you start link building and you kind of see like a little drop in rankings, or you see, you look at your rankings, you see the drop, and you're like, oh wow, I'm doing something that's, because the Google dance drops and goes back up.
Yeah.
It's really cool just to see how you can influence the algorithm. I like that too, but mainly for the money.
Fair enough. So how long, or what happened between, like, when did you start your current agency?
So it's been about a year or so I started, but I didn't
Okay.
really get it taken off until, say, in October, November.
Oh, wow.
Is when
Okay.
things really
So very
just,
recent.
yeah, very recent. So what I started to do when, so I started, I had a few clients here and there, and I was working, working my day job and mixing in the SEO. So what I said was, I need to get salespeople, and I need to have somebody else selling this and dealing with the clients. So what I did was I went to Indeed and I put a job posting up, and I offered a really nice commission, which I'll get into in a moment. But the way that worked was I just, put the job posting up, and I wanted to make it like a real job for people. I didn't want people to, I don't know. I mean, you see ads on Craigslist all the time because I get I set up IFTTT to send me Craigslist notifications when somebody mentions SEO, in
Nice.
case people need SEO.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
So, but so I get those notifications and I see people that are always trying to hire sales reps, like um, like SEO companies. They post their ads on Craigslist and they're like, I need somebody to sell my SEO. I'll give you 20% or whatever. So I said, that's really just 20%. Really just isn't enough for people. I just felt like if you want someone to come on board and be loyal to you and work for you, you need to have some skin in the game too. Like
Sure.
that's kind of how I feel. So what I did was when I put the job posting up, I made it like a real job. I said, look, I'll pay your home internet, get you a company phone, company laptop. That's tied to performance, so they kind of have to prove themselves first.
Okay. So you're not
And
just
I'll
like
get
coming in as like buying them a brand new MacBook and.
no, no, it's all tied to performance. Um, and then I have a payroll company, which is
Okay.
super. Yeah, it's super cheap. It's Sure Payroll. It's $50 a month and $5 per employee.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, it's like why not, right? And if you're in the U.S., you have to pay employer taxes, and they'll actually withhold that for you.
Okay. So it's all like legit then. It seems it has the appearance, or it is legit. It's like a real business setup, not just the appearance. It actually is, rather than just some random person just say, "Oh, I'll just like pass it on," like no real professionalism, not properly set up or anything.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think that that's allowed me to hire maybe a higher caliber person because you're giving them, you're really giving them the ability to make six figures.
Sure.
I think everybody wants to make that's the mark for a lot of people. Um, like a lot of people feel like, oh, if I could make 120 or 150, I would be good. Um,
Even in our
I think
industry.
yeah, it is. It
Yeah.
is. Um, so yeah, so what that allowed me to do, I feel like, was hire people that have the right experience and who are, I don't know, I guess just a better quality salesperson.
Okay. Okay.
So
So you went on there. You started posting this ads. Was the first person that contacted you like a complete rock star? Was the first hire rock star, or did like what happened?
no, actually, so I put in the ad very clearly. You must have sales experience. What do I put in there? I put this job is very tough. No, I'm trying to think of the exact like verbatim. Trying to think exactly verbatim what I say, but basically I say this is very difficult. If you don't have actual sales experience, it's not going to work out for you.
Sure.
And and then I also put customer service experience does not equal sales experience. So I put that in the job posting, but in spite of that, I still get tons of people. Like in fact, I got one the other day, a resume in, and the girl put she had 8 years of sales experience, and she worked at like J.C. Penney.
Yeah.
So
I've seen a lot of
uh,
people like really brag about like things that don't really count.
exactly. So and then during the hiring process, so we'll do 3 interviews. The first interview is just getting to know them and their experience. The second interview, well, after the first interview, I have internal documents. Um, So I have marketing assets that the sales team can use. So like, let's say they get a prospect who says, "Hey, email me your information." Like I have like PDFs that,
Gotcha.
yeah, they just send it out. So I send them all the marketing assets, and then I send them some internal documents that break down, like that define certain words, like what is a keyword. Um, so they look over that, and then the third interview is I say, okay, just study this stuff. When you call me back, I want you to pitch me.
Nice.
And then, yeah. So then the third call is them, trying to sell me SEO, and because I also have a list of objections, like common objections you hear from a prospect, like I don't have enough money, or like already have an SEO company. So I send them the objections, and then when they call for the third interview, I use those objections as if I'm a prospect.
Yeah.
And kind of, yeah,
And test them and see, yeah.
Exactly. So, and that's kind of the hiring process, and then if we agree to move forward, then I set them up with a company email. I use Google Apps, so I just go in, make them an email, and one thing that I use for my people it's been awesome is Sales Genie. So Sales Genie is owned by a company called Info Group. Info Group is they're like a data aggregator.
Okay.
So yeah, in fact, I've never used them for this, but I think they'll actually, if you're a small business, you can actually sign up with them and they'll do listings for you.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of companies get data from Info Group. I don't remember which GPS it is, but one of the GPS companies gets their data from Info Group. But anyways, Info Group, or Sales Genie is the product. It's a database of all businesses and the business owner's name.
Oh wow, okay. So
yeah.
You use that for prospecting?
Yes. Yep. So each salesperson has their own Sales Genie account. They can go in and they can target a type of business. So like roofers in Denver, it pulls up all the roofers in Denver. It's got the business owner's name, their phone number. It doesn't give the email address. So you can't pull down the data with the emails.
Okay.
You can get the emails, but it's I just exchanged for some emails. So I had 17,000 exports, so one lead equals an export, and I had it built up, so I had 17,000 leads I could download. They don't charge you to use it. You can view as many leads as you want.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, but if you want to export them, if you have a dialer and you need data for your dialer, you could pull that down and load the data into your auto dialer.
Sure.
Anyway, yeah, but anyways, they can provide the emails. It's just more expensive.
Okay. So with the hiring process, you got the free interviews, you test them on the final one and seeing how well they pitch you on that call.
Yeah.
Lost my train of thought. As people that go through that hiring process, is everyone that goes through it good? The people that you decide to hire after the test, or do you still have some that somehow sneak through the tests and the interviews but don't really seem that great?
Yeah, I'm pretty good at weeding them out. So I can tell, I can kind of tell who's going to be good.
Gut feeling?
Yeah, well, it's more it depends how they handle the objections. If they're for example, if we get to the sales call and they say, "Hi, this is Joe calling from Rocket 31 Marketing. Do you have a moment to talk about your business?" That's just no, you're done. You're not going to work. But if they're aggressive and they kind of, I guess if they're aggressive on the phone, I can tell that's a good sign. But not everybody that makes it to the third process gets hired, because it costs me time and money to onboard them.
Sure.
In fact, I hired a guy. It was just a really bad hire, but and this was the only guy that I've ever really met in person to interview, because he happened to be here in Denver. But I met him to interview him, and he was younger. I think he was he had to be 18. He was just a younger dude. But I got him set up, and he said he was real excited. He said he was going to learn and do well. And the guy he just didn't work, man. I mean, like, he would work one day and then take like 3 days off, and then he would work, and all the leads. So I told him, I said, look, when you're starting out, you want to call businesses where you're likely to reach the decision maker without going through too many gatekeepers.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to, yeah, like, we don't want him to call like FedEx and try to sell them SEO. You know, we want him to call like, yeah, like Joe's Carpet Cleaning or something. So he started targeting gunsmiths, and these guys, like, that would not probably be a good niche, because they were like guys that are in their garage.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
yeah, so they were like guys that like, they had day jobs, and they were like gunsmiths part-time, so he was like calling them. So
I guess that goes in the system. Then you like next time you hire someone, you know that like don't enter niches like this.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, not everybody gets hired. I mean, so a lot of people I don't even call back.
Okay.
You know, so trying to think. Oh, and the comp plan. So this would work if you've got enough cash to like foot the bill for a campaign for a month. So like, you're gonna go. I look at it as investing in my business. So the way I compensate my people is I pay them 100% of the first month's client billing. So if they sell a $1,000 client, they're gonna get that $1,000.
Do you have contracts in place, or is that on goodwill, presuming they're gonna stay longer?
Do you mean
with the client? So is the client committed to like 6 to 12 months, or is it purely on like goodwill that they're gonna stay with you for 6 to 12 months?
Yeah, no, we actually don't lock them in. We have a service agreement that says, it does say they can quit. They could quit at any time. So that's just a risk that I'm taking. We have a basic agreement, but it doesn't hold them in. There's no term that they have to stay with us.
Yeah. Yeah, I think most SEOs are doing that are actually good.
You mean the having the contract, or not having?
Not having one. Like terrible agencies seem to all have them, but people that are actually good often don't bother.
Yeah, I don't bother. I just, we usually get them results. Like, and what I do in the first month is I'll purposely find some of their lower competition keywords.
Yeah.
And I'll shoot them a couple of emails and say, hey, look, we're moving forward, we're making progress, and that usually kind of puts their mind at ease.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so with the salespeople then, are they like cold calling everything, or are you like delivering the leads to them, then they just get on the phone and close it? Like, what does their position involve?
Their position, and I tell them, when I'm hiring them, like, this is a cold calling position. They do get leads, but I make it very clear that I expect you to be on the phone cold calling. Like, you're not going to get anything handed to you.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so we do lead generation. We do massive amounts of cold email, and so when the leads come in, they go in a rotation. So like, it might be Dominic's day to get a lead, or sometimes we have multiple leads coming in one day. So everybody's getting leads.
Okay. What would you say is more effective then for you, the cold emailing or like them cold calling?
To be honest, I would say, because I have a team of people that are cold calling, I would say cold calling is more effective, but only because I'm throwing more assets at it.
Okay.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah. So I'm sending like thousands of cold emails, and I mean, what happens? So what I do is I send them the emails. So like today I targeted lawn care companies, and I think it was like 6 or 7 responses so far.
Okay.
Today? I mean, yeah, today.
Okay.
They'll trickle in over the next few days, but I mean, I know there's some guys in the group that are doing cold email, but they're doing it almost manually. Like, they might send 100 cold emails in a day, or and those guys might get like a 5%. They might get 5, off their 100 because they're doing it super good. They've got the person's name. It's really personal.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
very
mine's not like
okay.
yeah, mine's like, hey, we work with lawn care companies. We can make your phone ring. Here's how we do it. Click here if you want to figure out more, or click here if you want to see how we do this.
Okay.
And then they click. Yeah, and then they click, and then they go to a landing page that's specifically for lawn care companies.
Gotcha. And how many of these
Yeah.
do you send in? Like today you said was 6 responses. How many have you sent today?
Today I sent about 4,000.
4,000. Okay. So it's a much bigger scale approach.
Yeah, it is. It's much larger scale. And for me, it's just easier because I don't have time to sit there and like, I don't know. I just don't have time to like sit there and type emails or like figure out people's names. I'm kind of casting a wide net.
Sure.
And
So where'd you get the leads from for like 4,000 lawn care companies?
so I scrape.
Okay.
So what I do is like I've got an Excel spreadsheet that's got a list of 16,325 city-state combinations. So like Anchorage, Alaska, Jacksonville, Florida. It's just a list of city-states. Like,
Yeah.
and then what I do is in the one column, I'll just put lawn care company near, and then I take it over and put it in text mechanic and kind of remove all the empty spaces. Put that into Scrapebox, and I scrape the websites.
Okay. It's relatively simple.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. And then I filter the websites using Scrapebox. So I'll just put in this case I did remove URLs not containing the word lawn. So it gets rid of that.
Yeah.
And then I just go and grab the emails using Scrapebox.
Okay. Cool. It's
Yeah.
relatively straightforward.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty straightforward. You have to like when Scrapebox returns the emails, a lot of times it's like you have to filter it again.
Manually or?
No, I wouldn't say manually. You have to go through and like, so for example, lawn care. Like I found that a lot of I pulled out about 100. What was it from? It was like oaklawn.org, which is actually a city.
Okay.
So it fit the criteria, so it didn't get filtered out initially. But yeah, you kind of have to filter it a little bit, and then what I do is I have Atomic Email Studio, which is just an email program.
Like on your own server or something?
Yeah, it's on a VPS.
Okay. And that
So
emails them all.
yeah, it emails them all. It lets me filter the list. It does email verification. So like
Okay.
I'm not sure how it really works, but it like fake sends a message to make sure it's not going to bounce.
Yeah, I've seen like Mail Tester, different services like that.
Yep, it does that. It's a desktop version.
Okay.
And then it sends the emails and
So how long does this process take from beginning, like planning the keywords you're going to go after, scraping the emails, and then getting them sent out?
well, now it might take me like a couple hours to put it together.
Okay.
Because it's got a scrape. I run like 100 threads with Scrapebox, so it gets them maybe in about like 30 minutes. It grabs them, and then you have to design the landing page, so that takes time too.
Do you duplicate it for like every niche? Is it like the same one, just slightly change it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll try something new. Like, I want to say it was about like a month and a half ago, I started, for whatever reason, it kind of slowed down. Like I was sending the email and the responses were kind of not as strong as they were. So I was like, well, let me try something new. So I changed my landing page around and then it kind of kicked back up.
Interesting.
So
you have any tips for the landing page then? Like, what does that look like?
yeah, so it basically is like there's like a call to action above the fold. So when they land on the page, all they're seeing is like a background with some text and like maybe a contact form. I was doing a contact form up top, but now I kind of do just like they can click to call, or they can they can actually click through to a page where there is a contact form.
Okay.
But yeah,
when
but
they
it
click
just
the
said,
call, does that go to one of your sales guys?
yeah, it actually goes to the call system and it routes it to a person.
Gotcha.
So, yep. Um, and then, oh, what was I going to say? But mainly the call to action is just like, what does it say? Like for the lawn care guys, it was like, we can make your phone ring. Do you need more lawn care customers? Like, pretty straightforward and just real direct. And then as they scroll down, it's basically like, in fact, I think I got this from one of your emails you sent out. I don't know if it was you or somebody, but might have been you. But it was like, talk about don't talk about, how can I say this? Don't talk about the phone ringing all the time. Talk about what happens after the phone's ringing, like the lifestyle that the business owner is going to have when he has all the money from all the, yeah. So
may have been me, I don't know.
I don't know, but yeah. So we kind of go into that kind of like in that direction. Like we talk about making the phone ring, talk about like the lifestyle, and then we'll go and show some results. Like there'll be like a little section of the landing page that says this client's business is jamming right now. He could take vacations whenever he wants. He's hiring more people.
Are they in the same industry, the testimonial?
Yeah, we try to do that. So like for lawn care, like I had a good example. For bail bonds, I have good examples of that. We try to do that. If not, we'll preface it. We won't lie and say this is a lawn care company. Like we'll say this is one of our clients. Look at their rankings.
Okay, just not mention it as much.
Correct. If it's not in the industry, we won't mention the industry that the client's in.
Okay. Yeah, that's a smart move.
Yeah. So yeah, so that's kind of how I do it. It's it's kind of a process, and I tried other things. I mean, I was using Sendinblue at first. They banned me because I didn't know when I was starting out with cold email. I didn't know the bounce rate. If you have a lot of bounces, you'll get banned.
Yeah.
So I wasn't filtering my lists. I was just scraping and sending, and they banned me. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to build my own system. I'm going to, set this up on my own so that way nobody can ban me again.
Okay. What's the platform called again for anyone that wants to check it out?
It's called Atomic Email Studio, and I mean it's not real fancy. It does a lot. In fact, it even has scrapers. It has a Yelp scraper it comes with.
Okay.
Yeah, it has a web scraper, so you can like type in a keyword and it'll grab email addresses for that keyword.
And for the cold email and for like scraping and stuff like that, are you doing this like every day, like scraping new lists every day, or is it just like once a week, or how's that work?
Well, it was almost every day. Now I've got a bunch of email addresses.
Okay, so you build it up.
So, yeah, build it up. So if I'm going to go after a new niche, I'll scrape. But I must have like, I don't know, like maybe 80. No, I don't know. I want to say like 60 to 80,000 email addresses.
Wow. Okay.
So.
Did you hit the same email addresses multiple times or just once?
I'll wait. So what I do is after I send the initial email, I will wait for the response to come back, because a lot of times I'll get unsubscribes or complaints or whatever.
Sure.
So yeah, so I wait for that to come through, and I have that. Actually, I should probably talk about how I'm using different domains to send, but anyways, I have an email box set up that any unsubscribe email goes into an email box. The program doesn't sort the unsubscribes for you, so
okay.
I actually had to, yeah, it's a little tricky. I actually had to create a filter in my email to send unsubscribes to basically I put them in a folder. I export that email address, and then I upload that as a blacklist.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a little bit of manual there.
Yeah, it is. It's a process for sure.
Okay.
But but I usually wait, like I try to wait like a month before I hit them again.
Okay, but you are emailing them again, but spacing it out a
Yes.
little bit.
Yeah, spacing it out.
Okay.
Because you never know, like you could have one guy that's real busy that day and he just hits delete, and then the next time you email him, maybe he doesn't have any jobs that day and he's just sitting there and he's like, "Oh wow, I can get more work if I call this guy."
Yeah, absolutely. I think
Yeah.
follow up is hugely important, but yeah, when you email in like 4,000 people at a time, I guess you probably want to space it out a little bit.
Yeah. But what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start, and I haven't done this yet, but I'm going to start putting a pixel in my landing pages,
Okay.
and then retargeting. Can you do that? Is that even a thing?
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
is it like a Facebook pixel?
well, yeah, I know what a Facebook pixel is, but if they come in via email, you can still pixel them and retarget, right?
Yeah.
That's a new thing, like to me. So, all
So
right,
retargeting the people that have expressed interest, basically.
yes. So
Okay.
like when they land on the page, I want to show them an ad, so that way I can say, or I could even do something like that guy Billy Jean, like I'm targeting you, I'm specifically targeting you type thing to show them, like how good you are, I guess.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to test. All right, back to the sales team then. How many guys do you have now? Like
So I have four.
four. Okay, and they're like all day just picking up the phone calling people.
Yeah, pretty much. So like one guy's a superstar, and he's really kind of like I have four right now. I've had a lot of turnover too.
Sure.
So like, yeah, so like I've had one guy that's been with me for a while, and he's pretty good. He's actually really good. Um, and then it's like they'll come in and it'll be a good hire or the skill set. I feel like the skill set will be there, but they're working from home, so they're not going to the office, and it's hard to work from home if you've never done it before. Like for some
Absolutely. Yeah.
people, yeah. But yeah, in fact, I had a guy that I hired out of the Pacific Northwest, and perfect hire. The guy worked for a social media marketing company doing sales, and
Relevant.
yeah, it was very relevant. And he targeted in his old job, he was selling to real estate agents like a social media marketing package. So like, I got all the info from him, and I created that package for him and said, here, like, this is your, like, here's the basically the same package you were selling. Go sell it. You have now you can work from home and you make more money. Um, and I was so excited because I was like, man, this guy, because he was telling me, he said that he was selling, I think he said like $8,000 worth of business every month for this company he was working for. And I was thinking like, cha-ching, cha-ching. I was like, man, $8,000. Oh my God, that guy, it's gonna just compound. Um, but he just worked for a day and then took off. I never heard from him again.
Weird.
Yeah, it was weird, but
Maybe
um,
SEO is much more difficult to sell.
yeah, but that's the thing. Like, I created a social media marketing package for him to sell that was essentially the same thing that he was selling before. So I
Okay.
was like, I don't know. You run into weird people. Like,
Maybe
it's
talked a
weird.
bigger game than they actually had.
Maybe. Um, Yeah, and then you'll have people like you just have the same woes that any business owner would have. Like the people you're hiring sometimes will like they'll ask you for money. Um, some of them like a lot of salespeople, some of them like just can't manage money well. So they like I have one guy that's like, can you give me an advance? Like I promise I've got stuff in my pipeline, um, and I've actually done it a few times.
Okay,
Just
interesting.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's probably not a good idea to do. I wouldn't recommend anybody else doing it. But yeah, so that's just the kind of problems you'll have when you hire salespeople.
Naturally, yeah. You said you have like a lot of churn. Do you have what happens if they come in and if they get like two or three clients, so they got their commissions coming in? Is it recurring commissions as well?
So there's a 10% residual, which is tied to quota attainment.
Okay,
So when they come on board, we agree on a quota. So their quota is based on how much money they want to make, like what their income goals are, and their skill level.
Right. So
So
my question was, if they leave after, say, 2 months, after they've already got some clients, do they continue getting the residuals, or does that cut off because like the quota?
yeah, it cuts off because they're no longer employed and they're not hitting the quota. So they're not they don't get the residual anymore if they quit.
Okay. And how do you, like, you kind of mentioned it, but how do you kind of come up with this quota number for people?
So we talk about their income goals and their skill level. So if I was going to like hire you, I would say how much money do you reasonably want to make? Like, don't say $1 million, because I tell them, like, be reasonable. Like, what's a reasonable income goal for you? Then we talk about it, and then we figure out, okay, you need to sell X amount per month to hit that goal. So because you're new, maybe we drop that by $2,000. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? Like, or I'll say, like, okay, you want to make $8,000 a month. So for your first 6 months of employment, we'll make your quota 4,000.
Gotcha.
So that way yes, they can still get their residual, but there's an up ramp period, and it's just, it's like a medium.
And if people,
Go ahead.
do you have many people that struggle to hit it?
Yeah, sometimes. So the quotas are different. So like one guy, his quota is 4,000, and sometimes he does struggle. It's weird. It's like he'll have a really good week, and then I think it's because he's like, his pockets are fat, maybe. So he'll just take it easy. The expectation is that they're working all day, but sometimes I think they slack off, because I'm real lenient. Like, I'm not emailing them all day, like like, what are you doing? I just let them do their own thing.
Yeah.
So
I guess that's with a commission thing, you can't really, I mean, you could, but you're not supposed to like message them constantly, like micromanaging them.
exactly, yeah. So yeah, and I found that the best hires have come from the backgrounds like credit repair, or
Okay.
so it's weird. It's like, find the people who are selling over the phone and who are selling a product that nobody wants.
Very relevant.
Yeah, like, so credit repair, tax resolution, that's a good one. People that have worked for like Yellow Pages or Dex Media. So people that have that that are used to like hardcore sales, I guess, so to speak.
Yeah, and you want someone so you're trying to hire people that deliberately have a lot of experience on the phone selling stuff, that it's either similar to SEO or similar in a way that when someone hears it, they don't want it.
Exactly. Yeah, basically.
And do you provide training on top of that?
No, not really. I mean, we do. I have the objections, so I have a list of all the objections, and I have like a basic pitch. But it's really, I expect them. So like, I'm hoping that when I hire them, like, they already know how to navigate a sales conversation.
Sure.
So
Do you
yeah,
give
I'm not
them
spending.
any direction with the sales process? For example, do you teach them that the first call you should like qualify them, then push them onto a proposal, or do you have any sort of structure of how the sale should go?
Yeah, so what I tell them is, if you can get a one-call close, go for it. If you feel like that person, like if you feel they're ready to do business with you, ask for the sale.
Sure.
But I tell them just kind of feel it out on their own. Like, if the person's hesitant, just offer to give them a proposal. But if they're really feeling you and you guys are really getting along, then ask for the sale. But as far as like coaching, I mean, I don't really provide any. Sometimes I'll have to actually close a sale. Like, they might say, hey, this guy has been burned before by other companies. He doesn't trust us. Can you close him?
Okay.
So I'll do things like that.
But I guess the idea behind the coaching is that your intent is to hire like rock stars, like people that will just sell. And so your thinking is you don't need to train them so much, aside from giving them, like, getting them up to scratch of SEO. That's about it.
Yeah, pretty much. Like I'm looking for people that already have the sales ability. They just need to figure out what SEO is.
Okay. And with managing the clients and dealing with them on a day-to-day basis once you've got them, is that your responsibility or do they manage the clients they close?
So they manage the client when they're not the technical contact for the client. So
Okay.
I'm the technical contact, any technical related issues. But so what I tell them, and sometimes even the client, if you're upset or you're angry or you have an issue that's not technical, you need to call the salesperson,
Okay.
and that's why they get their residual.
Yeah, it's like a lot of like old school like physical businesses. They have like a rep, like a rep that they deal with, and then they have like a proper like manufacturing place or something that deals with all like the issues like with creating a product and everything like that. Kind of seems familiar.
Yeah, no, that's kind of what I want. Like I want the client to have a rep, but not necessarily like I don't know, like they don't really have much communication after the sale. I mean, because a lot of the stuff after the sale is technical or it's updates or like here's a report for like with the reporting and stuff.
Yeah.
They don't deliver the reports, like those are delivered by me.
Okay.
But if the client's upset, we want them to call the salesperson.
It saves you some effort.
Yeah. But
Okay, fair enough. And with the so you have the emails going out, you have the salespeople going out cold calling. With the emails, the leads come in. Do they go directly to you, or do you automatically have them split to them based on the day and stuff?
no, they go to me, and then I just keep track of everything. Like I
Okay.
just keep track of doling them out, and I just forward them via email. And then before we do a campaign, I'll send a copy of the email and the landing page to the salespeople so they can see what's being said and
Okay.
what the deal is.
Yeah, so they're not in the dark there.
Yep.
Is there any other big lessons you've had from starting to hire salespeople that we haven't touched on yet?
Man, it's been, yeah, I mean, it's just been like learn as you go for me. I mean, I come from a sales background, so like I know that if the salespeople quit tomorrow, I mean, it would suck because I would have to be managing clients and be managing projects and having to sell. But I could get on the phone and sell it myself. But I guess just like the lesson, really, it's just been learning as you go and just making mistakes like bad hires. And like when I make a bad hire, I look back at the time that I spent on that, and I'm
Yeah.
like, man, must have spent 8 hours talking to that guy, and he didn't work out, So,
But I
um,
guess it is inevitable. Like I've hired a lot of people, especially like virtual assistants and stuff. Like you can have a very, very good vetting process, but it's inevitable that sometimes you're going to hire someone that isn't going to be the best fit, I guess.
it's true. Yeah, sometimes you are like the guy from the Northwest. I mean, everything was perfect. He was like excellent, and just never heard from him. So, and those are my struggles.
Yeah.
Just yeah, and then fulfillment. Like I'm at the point. Like I'm just like anybody else. Like I'm like a regular guy. I'm no like crazy superstar guru. Like I just have found a way to sell SEO, and it's working really well. We have some really aggressive goals this year, but I'm still learning too. Like I'm still following you and all the groups, and just still learning from the community.
That's cool.
So
So what are the struggles you have now? So you've kind of got the idea of lead generation. You kind of got the sales coming in. It could grow, obviously, but you've kind of got a grip on it. What do you struggle with now?
oh man, really just staying organized and staying on task. Like I'm, I've got VAs who are doing the execution. Like I've got a link builder guy, I've got a web guy, so he's doing the websites. Like the link builder is doing the citations and building like high quality tier 1 properties. You got a content person, and then like another like general like utility person that can do a little bit of everything.
Okay.
But the problem is I'm not ahead of the game enough to where when I say ahead of the game, I mean from a time standpoint, like a time during the day. So like around 4 o'clock, between like 4 and 7, they're starting to come into work, like 4 to 7 my time.
Okay.
So it's like the end of the day for me. They're starting to come in, and what I would like is to have all their work ready for them, and say, hey, here's what you're doing today, but I don't. So they're emailing me and messaging me, and then I have to like be real quick and like, okay, go do this or go do that, and so my struggle is just managing that and managing the like. I mean, we always get the fulfillment done. We're getting great results. Like our clients are all like super happy, but yeah, really just managing the whole process. I was actually talking to a friend, another business owner the other day, and he said that I need a project manager.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing as you said that.
So I need to find one of those. Like I need to go on to like onlinejobs.ph and try to find somebody that can do that. But
so fulfillment
yeah,
is managing all the cogs in the engine.
yeah,
Okay.
that's my big problem. Or like I mean, I suffer from the same like ADD as anybody else. Like it'll be in the middle of the day and I'll be doing something and I'll get an email like new Jason Swank podcast or Lion Zeal show will pop up and I'll say, oh man, so I'll put my headphones on and so that's stuff like that.
We're all
Like,
human.
yeah. But
So what does your work look like on like a day-to-day basis? Is it mostly just like talking to everyone and just managing everything?
yeah, pretty much. Like it's getting the like lead generation is a big thing. Checking in on the individual projects. Like if we're building a website and we're doing SEO, so we're doing like a whole package for somebody.
Yeah.
Like like checking in and really like making sure that the site is interlinked correctly or that the schema is correct. There's no errors. Really just checking things and kind of quarterbacking. But then sometimes it's like, I mean, things happen. Like sometimes somebody will call and like, somebody's website will go down, or I don't know. I have one client who he got an email from another lead generation company, and it's actually today. I got a client that got an email from a lead generation company, and it was like, hey, the email said, we've reviewed your website. Give me a call. And so he forwards it to me and he's like, why did you have this person review my website? And I was like, no, that's just a salesperson, don't respond. And then he's like, oh, by the way, and then there's like a laundry list of stuff he wants to ask about.
Yeah.
So just stuff like that. But
Okay, fair enough. And what about tools? You mentioned a few tools. Is there any tools that you provide to your salespeople, like autodialers or anything like that? And the second part of that would be like, what tools are it that you use in your business that like massively helps you?
so for the salespeople, Sales Genie.
Okay.
Like I have the team, they have like a team deal where you pay and then your people, it's like $80 a month per person for your people. And then Google Apps for Work, I use that. That's awesome. Atomic Email Studio, Scrapebox. Like in terms of like I'm using Trello.
Okay.
So
Neat tool.
yeah, it's really cool. I'm looking for if there was like an all-in-one project management slash, I don't know, like slash rank tracker. I mean, I have Raven tools too. I use that for client reporting. Trying to think, like really like my toolbox is mainly Scrapebox and the email system, Atomic Email Studio, Trello, Raven. I mean, now the people that work for me, like we use Ranker X, we use a bunch of link building tools too. So for like lower tiers and getting things indexed.
Okay.
So we have software like that too. So.
Okay, another question then. What is the difference between how you're spending your time now, what you're working on now, versus say maybe a year ago or so when you like first got the agency up and running and it wasn't moving as fast as it is today?
That's good. That's a really good question. A year ago, I wasn't like scaling. So like now I have the mindset of I want to scale. So like, for example, I was thinking about this when a new client comes on, let's say it's a $1,500 a month client. When I look at that and I look at my margins, then I could hire another employee and maybe remove, or maybe I could hire another employee, or what can I do to scale? I think about margins now. Like
Yeah.
back then, I didn't think about margins at all. I just thought somebody gives me, $300, like I made $300, and that's not the case.
Yeah. So really thinking about it as a proper business, basically.
Exactly. Yes. That's pretty much the difference. Like it's not a side hustle; it's my business, and um, like I'm setting goals for for the financial growth, um, and yeah, I'm really trying to dive in and figure out. I like to say I think we had this conversation like I want to be at a 60 to 70% margin,
Yeah.
but then we really, if we like we're not accountants, so we don't really know exactly what our
Exactly.
margin
Yeah.
is. But that's kind of where I'm at now, just making it a proper business and treating it like it's a business, like by doing the payroll company, um, by managing the employees and thinking of myself like more as a business owner and not just like a freelancer or a guy that's doing SEO.
Yeah, absolutely. I think many people in our space struggle to really think of it as like a real business. Like a lot of people, it is just like a side hustle or something.
hmm That's true.
Okay, final
That is,
question then. What did it take, or what was the thing that pushed you over the edge with finally committing? You said a couple months ago you quit your corporate job. What finally pushed you over or made you make that decision to quit, especially when you're making like 6 figures a year from it?
really, I just wanted to make it on my own. Unless you've got like an MBA degree or or you're super smart, or you have a really good path, you're not going to really get rich working for somebody else.
Sure.
You could be wealthy. Maybe you can make, $300,000 a year. But I want to be in a position where, I want to make more than that. And when I looked at my individual contribution to the business and what I was bringing into my employer from a sales standpoint was millions of dollars selling B2B services. So I just thought about it and was like, you know what, I should be doing this. I can sell. Why am I doing this? Like I just need to. And I had been learning. I had been taking clients and kind of been taking clients and so it wasn't like I started from scratch. Like I quit and just didn't have anything. Like I already had money built up, and I had some clients. And what really did it, I think, actually too, was doing the lead generation. Like I was almost like having
Okay.
a faucet where you can turn on at any moment and get leads.
Was it
And I
just
remember one.
having it working, like knowing that no matter what you could generate leads?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And just being confident enough to know that like for example, and then like the little things like insurance. Like we switched to my wife's insurance right now, so we just took care of everything and made the jump. But I remember one time I had a ton of leads come in, and I had so many leads that I couldn't call them. Like
It's a
I
good
just
problem
didn't
to
know.
have.
It was awesome, and I was like, man, I have all these leads, and I eventually called them, but it was like a week later, and a lot of them had grown cold by that point. But that was when I was like, you know what? I have a faucet that I can just turn on and get leads, and plus I can sell. Um, so yeah, really the main thing though, just to kind of circle back, was like I want to make a lot of money, and it's really hard to do that when you're working for somebody else.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, man.
So
This was very, very cool. Where can people find you if you have any questions or want to check you out or anything like that?
Yeah, so you can find me on Facebook. I'm in the Lion Zeal group. I'm in the local client takeover group. Um, Rocket31.com is my website. Adam at Rocket31.com. Unfortunately, I don't have a product to sell, so
Just
I can't send you to a landing
genuinely
page.
helping out.
Yeah. But yeah, just online, like on Facebook and in the groups, I'm there. So
All right,
if
man.
anybody has any, I was gonna say if anybody has any questions, like you message me or whatever, I'll help.
Expect some. If you say that,
Yeah.
you're gonna get some. There is some people that like won't ask anything. They'll just watch it and try and take notes as much as they can. And there's other people that will message you like 50 questions and really take you
Nice.
up on that.
Cool, man.
All right. Yeah. Thanks for joining me. I think it's a pretty interesting approach, starting to hire some salespeople and treating it like a real business. I think that's something that everyone should really consider doing.
Yeah, for sure, man. I appreciate you having me on. It's been fun, and I really enjoy what you do, and I appreciate everything you do. So